Yeah, he's alive. Ballon d'Or. Joe, we'll start with that. It's me, Matty, joined by Drew, James, and Omer. We'll start with you, James, the new boy.
Cheers.
Mo Salah, 7th in the Ballon d'Or. What do you think?
I don't think it's necessarily a fair ranking of where he is, especially when you look at they've given it to Messi again. And if he'd have come second and Lewandowski had won it, you can say, okay, well, he scored 40 odd goals last season. He started this season off well, but this season Messi's got what, one goal, one assist compared to everyone else, and it's meant to be a 2021 view. So to put Salah as 7th and to say that he's the 7th best player in the world when he outstrips many of the Karim Benzema's coming 4th, it just feels like sometimes African players don't necessarily get the same level of classism that some of the European and South American clubs get players, because it's like, oh, well, he's from Africa, so he's not necessarily as good as these Americans and South Americans. Sorry, Europeans and South Americans. And I don't know what Salah has to do to be really considered in the mix of this type of award. And I guess it's quite frustrating for Liverpool fans because he often gets overlooked in multiple conversations about who is the best player in the Premier League and stuff like that. And people go, oh, Thierry Henry. Well, Salah's numbers beat Thierry Henry, but no one's prepared to accept the conversation. And yeah. I guess for me, I just find it incredibly frustrating on nights like this, that you've got such a shining light, such a changeable, way for African players and a pathway, and people don't even want to accept it or look at the conversation.
I think my biggest gripe is I have accepted Mo Salah probably wouldn't have won it this year because Liverpool didn't win anything last year, and it does seem like it's all football politics now. My biggest frustration is the fact that Lewandowski didn't win it. I think that fella deserved it more than any footballer on the planet this year. With it being called off last year, he was robbed from it. Now, Messi did have a fantastic season. He got 38 goals in 47 games and 14 assists. But again, they didn't. Yeah, he won the Copa Libertadores, which I suppose is huge. But Lewandowski, he's been overlooked again, has he not, Drew?
Yeah, I completely agree, Matty. Messi, for me, he won the Copa del Rey and the Copa America. So I guess he's probably getting the nod for the Copa America. But it was played behind doors. I saw most of the tournament. It didn't have the same atmosphere as when the crowds were there. And I kind of agree with James I think it just comes down to attention. The journalists around the world decide who the top 5 players are from a 30-player short list. And it almost seems like these journalists aren't watching every league. It's like, oh yeah, Messi's good or Ronaldo's good. Those are the 2 best players in the world, right? And it's like both of them have not had great seasons with their clubs. Like individually, yes, but like what defines best player? If Messi's not even winning La Liga in what should be a 2-team race, what does that really say for his ability to influence a game? He didn't score in any of the games against Real or Atletico last year, I don't believe. And Lewandowski, on the other hand, he was robbed because there wasn't the Ballon d'Or in 2020. But, as you said, he scored 40-odd goals in the Bundesliga. He won the Bundesliga. He won, I think it was the DFL Super Cup. Just because he plays for Poland, a team that's not going to ever really compete on an international scale, doesn't detract from how good a footballer he is. So yeah, for me, it's a big let off, and Lewandowski or Jorginho should have been arguably in front of Messi.
I agree with Blackhammer's comments here. Broke almost every single possible record last season. Actually had 48 goals in 40 games, 5 goals in 6 games in the Champions League, won the Club World Cup. Did he win the Super Cup as well, I think?
Yeah, I think they did, yeah.
41 goals in 29 games and 7 assists in the Bundesliga. And he said it himself, didn't he, Omar? He said in the press conference the other day that if football politics aren't involved in it, he should win it.
Yeah, I'm going to be a very unpopular boy here. I'm going to be a very unpopular boy here, but I think the right man won that award.
Really?
Wow.
100%. Look, there's no denying. I'm going to try and be as logical
I'm
as
ready.
possible here. There's no denying Lewandowski has had an insane season. Okay. But there's a few things we need to consider when it comes to the Ballon d'Or. It's a yearly award, and I think if we were to take a more holistic approach at the year that we've just had, the year that's just gone by, so it's normally done from December to November each year, so December 2020 to about November 2021. I'd say for 8-9 of those months, Lionel Messi has been the best player in the world, and for the last 2-3 months since he's been at PSG, no, he's not been the best player in the world. Mo Salah has been the best player in the world. However, I think there's a thing with Messi here, which I find ludicrous. We expect Messi to hit 50, 60 goals a season, 20, 30 assists a season, and to score probably 10 wonder goals a season. That's the level the world of football expects of Messi. To me, there's no doubt that Messi, at the level he's played, I don't think this has been his best individual year, but I think what we've got from Messi this year is more than enough. And I think the Copa America, he was the player of the tournament. He was, I think, the top scorer. He was given the most valuable player of the tournament, got the most assists, was the top scorer in the Liga. Won the Copa del Rey. I know people are like, oh, it's the Copa del Rey, but he was still the player of the match in that game. To me, Lionel Messi is the best football player in the world, and he should deserve that award. If we're talking about 2020, yeah, I understand. Lewandowski had the best 2020, but if we're talking about the best 2021 overall, just in my opinion, Lionel Messi's had the best 2021.
Would you think the Ballon d'Or is actually voted on who is the best player in the world? Because if you look back on previous years, I don't agree with this comment to an extent, but I do think Modric did deserve it. But if you cast your minds back to the fact that Steven Gerrard never won the Ballon d'Or ever, and you could argue there was years where he was the best player in the world, if you cast your minds back that far, and then at this present moment in time when the voting was done, was Messi the best player in the world when the voting was done? Probably not.
Probably not, but sorry, James. I'll be quick. But I think it's a bit of a downfall. I don't know what the phrase is, what the thing is, but when you have a player like Messi, the expectations on him are so high that he can drop a season like that, and it's seen as something that's not that impressive. It's like any award that's ever been given, whether it's at a local level, you see it at a local level, whether you see it on the grand level. Players who outperform their previous output get more recognition. Mo Salah in 2018 got the recognition he deserved because nobody expected that from Salah. Van Dijk in 2019 got the recognition he deserved because he hit levels that he previously had not hit. Lionel Messi has hit these levels, these best in the world levels for the last 12, 13, 14 years. So it's just become expected of him. So for him to have a bad 2 months at the start of his career at PSG, and for that to take away from his December 2020 to his July, August 2021, for me would be a bit harsh on the year he's had, because I think he's still been the best player in the world. And it's not a dig at Lewandowski, because I think Lewandowski was robbed in 2020. He should have won it, and I think he would have won it. However, I'm just thinking about the year 2021. Lionel Messi for me is the guy. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Omar? This isn't going to be a Pal and Omar type of thing when it comes.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But Barcelona went out in the round of 16. They got humiliated by PSG in the Champions League. And the Champions League knockout phase, that second part, is kind of the critical period, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're talking about players like Lewandowski, Salah, who do not play for a powerhouse international thing, and we're utilizing those where Argentina have a cracking squad, great group of players. Lewandowski's not got that. Salah's not got that because he doesn't have European championships or, the one in South America, which name's just escaped me. But so we're saying he's had a great second half of the year. He got knocked out the Champions League, the biggest club competition in the world, in the last 16 by PSG quite comfortably. And there are other players like Jorginho, and it's real. And I'm sure we'll get on to how can a defensive midfielder ever get recognition against strikers. I guess it's one of those where, does that mean Messi, Europeans, South Americans get 2 bites at the cherry to be the best player in the world because they play in these bigger competitions, and things like club competitions like Champions League doesn't really matter as much if something happens on one of these big international ones? It's just, how do we measure that output?
I think perhaps that's probably what happens, to be honest. I think it's the value of the tournament. If Mo Salah wins the African Cup of Nations next year, how much recognition will that get? We don't know, but I think it is, the Champions League's always played a big part in the Ballon d'Or. I felt when Ronaldo wins it, he gets it most of the time. When Messi wins it, he gets it. So I do agree with you that we do place a lot of emphasis on these competitions, on the Euros, on the Copa America. However, I just think that's how it is. And even if we were to do that, Messi did get his second bite of the cherry. I think there is a bit of an emotional thing to it, in the sense that he finally got his Copa America, his international trophy. However, I still think what he did with a Barcelona squad that was completely a mess, an absolute mess. It was him and a bunch of kids at times. And there was nothing going on at Barca. He still ended up the top scorer in the league. He still, like I say, carried them to the Copa del Rey. I know for some that doesn't mean much, but for me, it seems like a big enough achievement. So, yeah, perhaps he did get the second bite of the cherry, and the fact that he won the Copa America almost sealed it before we could even get into this season. But either way, I think on the whole, I stand by my point that for the large 8-9 out of 12 months that this award should be judged upon, he deserved it.
Before we move to you, Drew, I just want to pull a few interesting comments from LFC Spectre here. So he said, we take the award seriously because Van Dijk should have won it back in 2019. Completely agree. Lewandowski deserved it for the 2020. Yeah, he robbed it, but it's been robbed from him like it did Van Dijk. FIFA's a joke of an organisation. You can't take them serious. Now, I think this is in relation to some of your comments, Omar, about Messi's performances. Ian Rush probably should have won the award in '84 because he won the League Cup, European Cup, top goal scorer in the league and in Europe, and he finished 15th that year. Greece didn't win it when he won the Champions League in 77, 78, and 81. The only player who's ever won it for Liverpool is Michael Owen, and I think what did we win the season? Was that we won the 5 cups?
Yeah, we did the
treble
Mickey
of the
Mouse
cup.
treble. Apparently.
But my gripe is, and even this, Henry's never won it. That's a bit of a joke. But
Yeah.
Drew, how did Jorginho finish with Benzema, Drew?
Oh, Benzema, I guess Real Madrid didn't. I think for me, the issue comes down to consistency. Like, there's no real consistency in how each player is chosen. It's almost kind of like there's this general, like, vibe or like popularity contest towards that year when the voting comes, and it's like, oh yeah, Messi. Like, there's nostalgia, or there's that factor that he won his first major trophy with Argentina. We're probably not going to see him around in the game much longer. Like, there's just, for me, no consistency from year to year on who's chosen. Because if you're going down by best player, are we talking about stats? Because Lewandowski had the better stats than Messi last year. Benzema, I know he's been killing it in La Liga for most of the years he's been there, for over a decade for sure. But I don't know, like Jorginho won Champions League and he won the Euros with Italy. So it's how do you measure it? I think it's trophy and stats. And with both of those, I don't think Messi wins it this year. I think Lewandowski wins, or Jorginho. at least arguably above that. For Benzema, yeah, I think, he's the attractive player. He's definitely one of the best strikers in the world and has been for the past decade, but he didn't really win anything last year. So I think that counts against him. But again, I think it just comes back to consistency because there is no consistent level or judging process for this tournament. Or for this award. And that's why I don't take it seriously. But it is annoying to see one player like Messi or the other like Ronaldo get all this credit when some players from unpopular or not the most recognized countries or leagues get overlooked.
What really pisses me off when you look at the top 10, Cristiano Ronaldo did not have a better season than Mohamed Salah last year. I do not care what anyone says. He did not have a better season than Mohamed Salah, but he's ranked above him. I'd even argue that N'Golo Kante had a better season than Jorginho. Yeah, Jorginho won the Euros with Italy, but Kante was a bigger player for Chelsea than Jorginho was in the season, and he's finishing 5th, and Jorginho's 3rd, which is madness. The competition's meant to be about the best player in the world, and you've got Jorginho top 3, and then you've got someone like Mo Salah who's 7th. You've got Haaland who's 11th. Now Haaland's numbers last year were stupid. He certainly was one of the best players in the world. Definitely shouldn't be 11th. And then you've got Cristiano Ronaldo finishing 6th, who done absolutely fuck all last year. He's moved to United and went back to his club only because he wants to go to City and forced to move. And then he's ranking 6th for doing nothing. Like, it is just a popularity contest, isn't it? It's all politics. I'll pass that to you, Omar.
No, I agree completely with the Ronaldo thing. I don't know why he in what world people saw Ronaldo have a better season than Mo Salah. I agree. First, I want to talk about what Drew said about stats and trophies. I agree there is a sort of measurement in terms of that, and there is an inconsistency on some players being judged on stats, some players not. However, it's football. We watch football. We don't stare at a screen that monitors all the stats of all the players in the world. We watch football. At the end of the day, it will always be an eye test. And look, people can have their opinions. All these journalists can have their opinions. However, it would be nice if there was a consistent measurement to base it upon. But I kind of like the fact that we have all these different variables. The only thing I don't like is the fact that it does seem like a popularity contest at times. And I'm not saying that about Lionel Messi, because like I said, I think Lionel Messi deserved it. But the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo had a better season apparently than probably the 10 players behind him, like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, there's a bit of silliness to it. You can take it as seriously as you want. I think if we win the league or the Champions League next year, we'll be taking it very seriously. But yeah, it's nice to have a bunch of factors to look at football on, from stats to just this general eye test, trophies, whatever. But when stuff like popularity gets involved and like people just being lazy, having lazy journalists just put Ronaldo at number 1 because he has the most Instagram followers, then that's what like can get annoying. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Matty.
One thing I want to touch on as well is the Yashin Trophy. That's annoyed me more than the Ballon d'Or, I think, because Liverpool didn't have a great season last year. Let's not forget that. But I am refusing to believe that Kasper Schmeichel was a better goalkeeper than Alisson Becker that season. Refuse to believe it. And also, I believe Mendy deserved it over Donnarumma, if I'm being honest. He had an unbelievable season, coming and won Chelsea the Champions League. Unbelievable season. Emi Martinez won the Copa Libertadores with Argentina, and he's ranking 6th. And you've got Neuer, Oblak, and Donnarumma above them. Donnarumma won the Euros, yeah, but surely Emi Martinez, if you're taking into the fact that Messi won the Copa America and that got him the Ballon d'Or, Emi Martinez should be further up. Surely, shouldn't he? I'll pass that to you, Drew.
Yeah, I completely agree, Matty. That's where I go back to the inconsistency and no rhyme or reason. Like Emi Martinez, literally, he's the missing piece in the puzzle for Argentina. They had made it to how many penalties in Copa America before that, and they lost. Messi missing big penalties too, like not showing up in big games. And Emi Martinez steps in and wins that competition for them. So Yeah, Messi didn't score in the final. He didn't score in the semifinal. Emi Martinez came up huge. I agree with you on Mendy as well. I think Donnarumma gets, again, he's big highlighted in the news. He gets his big move from Juventus or AC Milan to PSG. He wins the Euros, so I think he's like the hot name at the moment. Alisson Becker had a bit of an off season, not his best, but I mean, his father died, and look at the comeback he made from that. Like Kasper Schmeichel above him, that just makes zero sense. It's like, yeah, Leicester won the FA Cup, but no, that's again like back to inconsistencies. Like, I think that's where we all like to see too is like a fair evaluating process. You want to be able to explain and justify, like through numbers, through stats, through something. And I get Omer's opinion on, we watch the game and like, obviously Messi's a beautiful player and there's these beautiful moments that, players, maybe Salah's coming close to reproducing those kind of moments. But then I'll go back to James' point about, the like different players from different countries not getting the same recognition, especially African players. It's like if Messi did what Salah did for against Watford or against City, that'd be Puskas nomination right there, like in the bag. So, but I know I'm detracting from your point from the goalkeepers, but yeah, I think it just goes again to that lack of inconsistency with how the voting is done. So, yeah, I'd say Mendy for the win. But Donnarumma, I'm like, all right, whatever. I do not take this award seriously or any of these awards. So, oh well.
It's the fact he's 10th and he's in 2 award categories. It makes no sense. They just need to take goalkeepers out of the Ballon d'Or top 10 and have the Yashin trophy as a separate trophy, or have them in the Ballon d'Or and have a quantifiable way to rank goalkeepers. I don't get why they run both.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, Donnarumma was phenomenal for Italy. Probably one of the main reasons that they won the Euros. But did he have a best? I suppose he done really well with AC Milan, but did he have a better season than someone like Emi Martinez, who, like Drew's just said, won Argentina at the Copa America? Now, Messi has won this based off that. So Emi Martinez, in my opinion, should be higher up. Mendy should be higher up. I mean, Alisson Becker, in my opinion, I agree with Spectre. He should have been higher up because he got goal of the season. Easily. But I'll start with you, Omar.
If we're talking stats, then what other keepers scored a goal this season? Therefore,
exactly. It's just ridiculous. But when you go down the whole list, you're seeing like Luis Suarez. Now he got 17th. He had a phenomenal season at Atletico Madrid last year. Arguably, probably won the La Liga, and he's finishing below someone like take a name out of it, Chiellini and Bonucci. Now Juventus win the league there every year. It's the most corrupt league in world football, and he's finishing below them. Like, and you just even when you go down a bit, like it's ridiculous. It's absolutely. How did Luka Modric even get in it again? Now we've done nothing last year.
I didn't think he was nominated. I saw him at 29th. I was like, what's going on here?
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And let's start with you, James. Do you think the Ballon d'Or has lost credibility over the past few years?
I think they need to start helping us understand the decisions, because otherwise people are just going to switch off from it, and it's just going to be who's got the most Instagram followers, and therefore they're the winner. Great, you're the social. It's a bit like a BBC Sports Personality of the Year. It has nothing to do with sporting achievement. It has everything to do with the media buzz she generated while she did it, and no one really values it the same as the sporting achievement in their sport. Because golf might not be as popular as Formula One. Lewis Hamilton's changed the entire sport of Formula One, but he's never really won Sports Personality of the Year. And Ballon d'Or's becoming similar. It's if you play in the big club in your league and you win something, or you play internationally, you win something, you're in the running. Now, one of the great things about the Premier League is it's so competitive. Is anyone ever really going to be in the running, because they're taking points of each other? They're not, one team might win a cup, the other might win the league, and yes, we'll probably both get through to the Champions League, but no one's really coming out strong all the time. You're not going to get these 40 Lewandowski, numbers, because you're playing against incredible opposition every week. So is it just going to be for the European superpowers who still want to create this Super League, for them to just give an award to their best player between them every year? And it feels like it's going down that sort of road.
You say league, so this stat actually interested me. Spectre said about Salah probably won't win if he's a Liverpool player, and FIFA only seemed to look at La Liga. I didn't know a Ballon d'Or winner hasn't come out of La Liga since 2007.
Yeah, that's a bit crazy. Oh well, Ronaldo 2008 was at United, wasn't he? And Modric was at Real Madrid, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I think it's 2008 when Ronaldo won it at United. I think for like the next 10 years, it's understandable Messi and Ronaldo bought actually genuinely there was nobody touching them. But yeah, recent years with Van Dijk probably.
The Van Dijk one was huge. There was no better player who made more of an impact than Van Dijk that year. And that's when it lost. Like this year, I wasn't bothered. I didn't even watch the thing because I just lost all interest in it when Van Dijk was robbed of that, because he should have won the Ballon d'Or that year. He was the best player in the world at that moment in time. And I'm going to pass this over to you, Drew. What do you think on Spectre's comments? By the way, if you're watching on Twitter and Facebook, do head over to YouTube, because that's the only way we can pull your comments up and get interactive with the stream. What do you think about it being a public vote? Because these journalists don't have a clue, do they?
I think it should almost be like a republic, so to speak. Like the public can vote for who they want to vote. Like, do a select few journalists. I'm sure Liverpool fans would pick like James Pearce or somebody like that. But if you nominate, journalists and put like a bit of weight on their decision. So it's like, and then which journalist picked. So then there can be some accountability. And then the public can control like, do I vote for this same journalist to represent my vote for the next year? I think that'd be an interesting way to go forward, because I definitely believe there needs to be more accountability in the process. And there also, James said, it's like there needs to be explanations, because, La Liga. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that stat. I'm pretty sure, Omer, that you're right that Ronaldo won in 2008 on United, but it's unbelievable to think that players outside of La Liga aren't getting the look at and the recognition. Van Dijk, we've said it, just beating a dead horse at this point, but like if La Liga, you can play their Real and Barca can play their B team against like half La Liga sides, especially if they've wrapped up La Liga in, February or March. So, they have a more straight shot at the Champions League. There's, it's obvious the Premier League's the toughest league in the world. So I don't know why more players from there don't get a look or have that in the consideration. But yeah, I definitely think there needs to be a changing up of the process, and I'd be curious to see if it could be done somewhat like a republic with some more accountability for those who are voting.
Is the only one that sort of got bang on then, do you reckon, was the Copper Trophy final, under 21 players, Pedri winning it? That's the only one that seems sound, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, the top 10 of that. I'm quite happy with the top 10 of that, because it was Pedri 1, Jude Bellingham 2, Mulsaya, I've said that wrong, for Bayern Munich 3. Thank you. Yeah, then there's Greenwood above Saka, I'm not 100% sure on, but then it was Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen, Ryan Gravenberch from Ajax, Giovanni Reyna, Borussia Dortmund, and Jeremy Doku, who I'm a big fan of. I really like him as a player. They were joint 9th. And that feels like it was a really... It felt about right, didn't it? The impact Pedri made, the impact Jude Bellingham made, you'd probably say they were the top 2, and probably Pedri gets it in terms of the fact that he was running that Spanish team. It felt fair. If Jude Bellingham had got it, you could see why Barcelona fans might get upset with that, because Pedri did have such a tangible impact. So that one felt about right for me.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, Omar?
Yeah. I think it's hard to rank the youngsters. Like they're all phenomenal talents. Like it's hard to tell who is the best out of Bellingham, Pedri, Doku, Saka, all these guys. So yeah, I do agree. I think that's probably going to be the least controversial one any year, because there's normally a few standout youngsters, and the weighting on it isn't as much as the Ballon d'Or and the Yashin Trophy. So, yeah, and there's probably not enough propaganda behind these youngsters again. So, like James was saying, like the Ballon d'Or, I was thinking about it, has so much propaganda driven behind it, because up to I'd say the Champions League semi-finals, May, June, nobody was considering Jorginho as Chelsea's best player. I thought he was like just about getting into the team, and then all of a sudden there was this massive push from the media. We saw on social media from his friends, whether people at Chelsea, people in Italy, who just wanted to really push this narrative that he's been amazing, and all of a sudden he gets in it running. I think there was nothing about Benzema until like September, October, and then Real Madrid tweeted out Benzema for Ballon d'Or, and then he had the whole of France football and the Liga behind him. So I know I've just gone off in a tangent here. It's actually crazy how like propaganda driven this is all, because
you do make a good point though, because Jorginho literally had a social media campaign to get him onto the Ballon d'Or, and it's worked. There's absolutely no way on this planet Jorginho is the third best player in the world this year. No chance.
No, it's like if the Premier League and Liverpool and I'd say Egypt, but then like it's that whole thing about people don't rate African teams anywhere near as much as the European and South American teams, which is wrong. But if Mo Salah had a full campaign driven behind him, he would have at least finished top 3. So it's ridiculous. So yeah, I think the only ones who were rightly in the correct spots there were Messi and Lower. Like that, they were the 2 standout players from this year. There's no doubt. So yeah, I don't know why I've just gone on that tangent or thought of that, but it seems like the least controversial award, which was the Copper, seemed to have the least amount of sort of propaganda or backing behind it, which is weird. It just shows the sort of influence. Sorry.
Only one La Liga player in the top 10 of the under-21s, but in the actual top award, it was packed, wasn't it? And we talk, so you're right. You're talking about the media narrative. Obviously, they're pushing their players out for the big award, but every other league is pretty well represented in the Copa Trophy, apart from Pedri, who's the only La Liga player. So it does feed what's going on in your head, Omar. I think it is one of those where they're pushing it out and going, okay, well, these are the best players, and
it's like Donnarumma had all that hype around the Euros, and you knew as soon as he won those 2 penalty shootouts against Spain and England, like that was it. He was the goalie of the season. Like if we're looking at the whole year, Mendy was the best keeper in the world for the whole season. He was a massive part to Chelsea's success. So it's ridiculous what like such a short period in a whole year can do to like change people's opinions of someone.
Would you agree with Blackhammer's comment, Drew, that it should have been Messi, Lewandowski, Benzema, Mo, and Kante as the correct order?
I mean, I think that's fair. I don't rate Benzema as highly as most people, but I do recognize the quality he brings as a striker. I'm actually, you mentioned it before, Matty, but where's Holland in this, in this debate? And quick for the U21s, wasn't he under 21 during that portion of the season? I was surprised that his name got completely blanked. I don't know, his birthday didn't make the cut, but he's 21 right now. And I don't know, I think he's scored now 50 Bundesliga goals in 50 Bundesliga matches at, 19, 20, 21 years old. Like, that's insane. I think he needs to be much higher up on the list. But yeah, that's a fair order, I think. I put Mo Salah above Benzema, but that'd be about it.
How about you, Omar? Would you agree with that order?
I wouldn't be annoyed with it. Like Drew, I'd have Mo ahead of Benzema. Maybe that's me being Liverpool biased, but I don't think it is. And I think Kante, Jorginho are very. You could have either or. I think before it's that's another funny thing. Before the Euros, everyone was saying if Kante wins the Euros here, he's dead cert for the Ballon d'Or. All of a sudden, France go out to Switzerland, and Jorginho's the guy. So it's just a bit flippy floppy. But yeah, those 5 there are probably actually my top 5 of the year. So yeah, but I'd go probably Messi, Lewa, Salah, Benzema, Kante.
I think my only frustration is that with I accept Messi had a fantastic season. It's just seeing Salah in 7th. He scored 31 goals in 51 games last year for Liverpool, and we just about scraped 4th. We were awful last year. Awful. There's no shadow in it. And Mo Salah's a winger. I think that gets overlooked a lot as well. Like, he shouldn't even be producing these numbers from the wing, should he, James?
No, and he's made it such an efficient process. You know, there's no step overs, no flicks, tricks, or anything. It's such an efficient process that it's looked like it's easy. Like, people just assume, oh, well, it's easy. Mo Salah, of course, he's going to score. It's like Trent Alexander-Arnold getting an assist. Oh, well, of course he is. He puts a cross in the box. But nobody else is doing these numbers. Nobody else can match these levels that Salah's getting. So, you know, people say Kane's the best striker in the Premier League. Salah's beaten him every year apart from one since he's joined. So these are levels that people will say the best striker in the Premier League can't reach, and he's a winger.
Yeah.
So Kane had a fantastic year last year. You know, I think his highest numbers for assists and goals combined. But Salah is producing numbers that nobody in the Premier League is coming close to. I think Ronaldo's getting close to hitting the 100 club now. Salah's already hit it, and he had a longer period in the Premier League. I think he's on double the amount of games, and he's just about creeping towards it. That's how big an achievement Salah's got. It's unreal numbers, and it's just not, I think, appreciated the difficulty of the league, the efficiency of the process that he has, and just the sheer coldness. You know, when he's in the box, he has more time than everyone else to just do what he wants to do, and he 9 times out of 10 picks the right option, whether it's a pass or a shot or a dribble. It's unbelievable numbers, and it's an unbelievable efficiency way of doing it. I just don't think it's appreciated as much because he's not European or he's not South American.
Well, if we're looking ahead to next year's one, at the minute, Salah's played 18 games, scored 17 goals, and got 7 assists, again, from the wing. Do you think he needs to win something this season, Omar, or go far with Egypt in the AFCON to have a chance next year?
Yeah, I just think that's how it's going to be. Unless Salah scores like 60 goals and gets like 50 assists, where he doesn't have to win anything to do it. But I think if he continues this run of form and he gets a league and he gets an AFCON or he gets a Champions League, he gets 1 or 2 trophies, he'll be up there. But equally, it depends on what someone else does. If Messi ends up winning the Champions League and the French League and whatever. Also, we've got the World Cup next year, which is going to have a big bearing, I feel, on it. I don't know how that's going to work, actually, because the World Cup's in November, and normally that's when they do the voting. So unless they delay it, they delay the award or the voting to consider the World Cup. But I think Salah's going to need a big trophy, ideally 2. If he gets 2 and keeps up this form, there's no stopping him. I think you can't deny like the greatness of Mo Salah. So yeah, fingers crossed he gets it, but we'll see. It's a long year, so yeah, we don't know what's going to happen.
What about you, Drew? Because at this present moment in time, Messi only scored his first goal for PSG the other day. Salah's producing numbers like nobody else. Ronaldo's a tap-in merchant this season. Is Haaland probably the only one who can maybe take Salah for the full ride to the Ballon d'Or next year? Or do you think if he carries on as he has been, talking 18 games, 17 goals, 7 assists, is it Mo Salah's in the bag more or less?
I don't see like. I think Mo Salah takes up the limelight as now, but I think another bias that happens is like the early part of the judging process. The early part of that year kind of gets mirrored over by the late. So if somebody has a late showing, or if like Ronaldo or Messi decide to retire or something like that, that might take the limelight out of it. But again, since there's no consistent judging process, I don't know if like Messi winning the Champions League with PSG would take precedence, or what if, God forbid, City wins the Champions League, if De Bruyne would be back in the mix there, or something like that. But hopefully Liverpool just take all the trophies and leave no room for option of anyone else being considered.
Charlie is raging. You can see him in the comments, absolutely raging.
Is that true?
Yeah, that Messi's actually won it. But I'd probably agree with that. I don't think Messi even deserves it for the next year. I think this is probably now. What are we? 4 months into a season, he's been terrible for PSG. We can't hide away from that. Ronaldo hasn't been that good. Haaland has been a freak of nature like he always is. What would you say, James? If we're looking ahead to next year, what does Mo Salah need to do to win this stupid Ballon d'Or?
Carry on as he's doing at the moment. I mean, if you look at the top 3 players in the English scoring charts, it's Liverpool. I think it's Jota, Mane and Salah, 7, 7 and 11. So carry on as he is there. But I think it's going to come down to European success. I think about Man City, I'm trying to go through the teams. I think about Man City, they're rotating their forward line so much that there's no standout player. Chelsea are doing similar. Maybe if Lukaku knocks in 30 goals and does something spectacular in the second half of the season, he could be in the shout because he's got a big PR machine behind him at the moment in Chelsea. We spent 100 million, we're going to get it back. If Mbappe goes on a run, Haaland, like you say, he's one. I've seen Mbappe doing some good things for PSG, doing all the running whilst Neymar and Messi are doing flicks between each other. But I think if he gets enough goals, I think he's started quite well this year. But the one you can't look away from, and the one that probably might get the nostalgic vote, a bit like Modric, is Lewandowski again. He started the season again on absolutely insane numbers. I think he's on 14 already, ahead of Salah. He started the season with insane form. So if Bayern Munich go deep in the Champions League, I think people might go, maybe this time we should give it to Lewandowski because he's probably deserved it by now. A bit like what happened to Modric. People are going, it's about his time that he got it. And that should placate people. And then we can make another 20, 30, 40, 50 million off this award for the next 3 years and give it back to Messi. So I'd probably go, if I was to guess the top 3, Lewandowski, Salah. I'll go Mbappe instead of Haaland because I don't think Dortmund will win the league and I don't think they'll go deep in the Champions League. So
the Ultra Champions League.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, isn't it, for Haaland run for it because they've got no chance of winning the Bundesliga after.
Unless he moves in January.
Yeah. I don't think Messi or Ronaldo will win one again. I think they're done, like with Ballon d'Ors. I think it's time for people like Haaland, Mbappe, Salah, maybe Lewandowski, these sorts of players to step in and take over now. Because I think, have you ever seen Ronaldo and Messi get off to such bad starts anywhere? I know they both moved clubs, but unless there's some second win, last dance type of stuff going on, I can't see them being in the running again.
I'd agree. Messi's been awful. And he's arguably in an easier league now than he was at Barcelona.
Yeah. Although I think the Spanish league's a bit of a mess, I won't lie. I think the Spanish league is overhyped and the French league is underhyped because watching some of the French league football, one, it's enjoyable compared to the slow Spanish football, and two, it's actually quite a physical league, which is why Messi's actually struggling. It's like Ramos, I think, said yesterday, the French league is like ridiculously physical. So I think we need to stop getting our Ballon d'Or winners from Spain and start looking at England, Italy, France.
Yeah, the Spanish league's awful. Now Messi's gone out for there's nothing really in there. Is there? Like there's no appeal really for the Spanish league. Yeah, before we go, I'm going to get your predictions on who's going to be the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or next year. I'll start with you, Drew.
Mo Salah, Lewandowski, Erling Haaland.
James.
I think I've said it, isn't it? Mo Salah, Lewandowski, and I'll go Mbappe.
What about you, Omar?
Yeah, Mo Salah. I'll go Mbappe 2, probably Lewandowski 3rd. Yeah, very, very boring, very similar.
Yeah, I think it'll be Salah, Mbappe, and Lewandowski purely because I think Liverpool going to win the Champions League this year. I think that might edge Salah into it. But you never know because, like everyone's saying in the comments, Thierry Henry never ever won the Ballon d'Or, which is an absolute travesty to football, in my opinion. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on, Omar, James, Drew. It's been brilliant interaction. Don't forget if you are watching the video, to like, rate, and subscribe, and all that jazz. If you've been watching on Twitter and Facebook, make sure next time you come over and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. You can be notified when we go live, and you can get it interacting with the screen with all the comments like this. Anthony reckons Mane, Salah, Thiago for the Ballon d'Or.
I love that.
Definitely not biased. That. What about Ban White? He's saying. But yeah, nice one for everyone for interacting. Nice one for Omar, James, and Drew for coming on. We've been LFC Transfer Room.
Cheers, Matty.
Next time. See you in a bit.
Thank you very much.